Good morning to all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with the 10th standard chemistry and physics, unit number 7, classification of elements, the periodic table, series number 12 is going to be discussed. Earlier, we completed various postulates in order to frame the periodic table from the ancient inception to till date modern periodic table, and also different periodic properties, how they are going to varied in a group and a period. Those are continuing. In continuation to that topic only, we are going to cover with the trends of periodic properties with respect to electronegativity, how they will be varied in a group and a period, what will be the criteria in order to calculate electronegativity values are going to be discussed in the series number 12. So in addition to this, earlier we completed unit number 1 to 6, all the detailed explanation available in the channel called The World of Computative Chemistry. Let us enter into our series number 12, electronegativity and its periodic properties. Electronegativity is nothing but, so this can be somewhat distinct when compared to ionization energy and electron gain enthalpy values. If you go with ionization energy, you have to consider the particular element. Even for electron gain enthalpy, elemental property is predicted. But comparative study, when any atom or molecule are formed in a bonding, in that case, how the variation in the properties are possible, that is called a comparative scale or comparative study. That is possible with this electronegativity. Electronegativity is not an elemental property, rather it is a comparative property when different elements are came into the picture. In that case, here when you observe this one, here the central part we are having a particular ball, let us assume, and both are having equal energy, so equally strong. In that case, what happens, there is no polarization. That means this central part will not be shifted in either of the direction, that remains in the central part only. So this is the condition number 1, where two sportsmen are having equal capability of pulling. In the second case, one of the person is the strong player and the second is a weak player. In that case, what happens, this pulling is more towards the person who is strong and capable of holding that very larger extent compared to the weaker player. So that pulling is more, and that central part will be more allocated towards the strong player only. So in that case, this is called a comparative study, where equal strong are having equal capability of pulling. So if the person having more strength when compared to second one, the pulling tendency will be larger. So same is exactly applicable to this electronegativity property also. When any two atoms are bounded by the covalent bond, the element with a higher seeking tendency of electrons having more tendency to pull the electrons. That's the reason why electronegativity is the criteria in order to measure the nature of the bond. Whether it is ionic, covalent or coordinate covalent, that is clearly distincted by using the property called electronegativity, right? So if both the atoms are having equal nature of pulling of bonded electrons, what happens? There is no polarity. Both the bonds are sharing electrons equally. That is regarded as a covalent bond formation. If one of the atom having more tendency to pull the electrons, what happens? That will acquire the negative charge, and either atom will acquire the positive. In that case, you can find the ionic bond. So based on this electronegativity, this is a criteria in order to measure the nature of bond formed between the atoms. So this is a comparative study. When more than one element is there, then only you can assign the property called electronegativity. For this purpose, the concept of electronegativity will be introduced. Now, let us go with what is the actual definition of electronegativity. Electronegativity of the element is defined as relative tendency of its electrons towards itself when it is bounded to the atom of any other element. Relative tendency, always it will be the relative property, it is not the individual property. With respect to any other element, whether it is stronger or weaker, that relative or comparative property we are studying. When you consider both the chlorines are combined, what happens? Each chlorine having equal capability of pulling the electrons. That's the reason why neither migrated towards right hand side chlorine nor migrated towards left hand side chlorine, and the electrons remains in the exactly at the central part. When you move on to HCl, hydrochloric acid, where chlorine having more tendency to pull the electrons rather than hydrogen. So that being it is a covalent bond only, but more the electrons will stay near to the chlorine rather than hydrogen. So you can find partial negative charge assigned to chlorine, partial positive charge assigned to hydrogen. That is purely because of polarization of the bond. And another case where sodium and chlorine, where complete shifting means electrons will not stay in between, rather sodium will lose and the chlorine will gain the electrons, and the chlorine will acquire the negative charge and sodium will gain the positive charge. So this is a kind of condition where transfer of electrons are possible and able to form the ionic bond formation. Transfer of electrons are possible. This is purely based on the electronegativity parameter only. What happens? Electronegativity of both the elements are same, are equal, and bond will not be shifted anywhere. That remains exactly at the central part. When electron withdrawing group and electron weaker withdrawing groups are combined with the bond, what happens? Electrons are slightly shifted towards the atom having more tendency to seek. That's the reason why polarization of the bond will be generated. That is denoted as a polar covalent bond. And third condition, if the atom is more stronger when compared to the second one, what happens? Complete shifting of electrons. So complete shifting is possible. This is called a transfer of electron. So that sodium, being it is a alkali metal element having tendency to release the electron, and chlorine having seeking tendency of electron, so that here transfer of electrons are possible. This is explained purely based on electronegativity nature. And you can clearly observe that from left hand to right hand side, there is a gradual increase in the ionic character is possible. So, and one more thing you can clearly observe, in all the cases, the bonds formed by even chlorine only. Then what would be the criteria in order to mention covalent, polar covalent, and ionic bond? So if you take first compound, that is a chlorine molecule, second compound hydrochloric acid, third compound sodium chloride. This is the table salt. Then in all the cases you are having one of the element common, but second element nature will decide the nature of the bond form. If the second element is also chlorine, no polarity. If second element is hydrogen, polar covalent bond. If second element is sodium, that is the complete shifting called ionic bond formation. This is the kind of nature. So bond nature will be completely predicted based on the criteria called electronegativity. So that's the reason why electronegativity is the most important parameter in order to measure the type of bond and the nature of bond between the combining atoms. Now, if you go with electronegativity, what kind of parameters will show the impact on this electronegativity values? As we discussed, for ionization potential, 5 different parameters will influence electronegativity values. In the similar manner, these can be employed to electronegativity and extended to even electron affinity and extended to electronegativity as well, right? Now let us see what are the parameters which are showing impact on all these three periodic trends. One is ionization energy, second is electron affinity, third is electronegativity property. One is nuclear charge, second is screening effect, which is also known as shielding effect, penetration power of the orbital, stable configuration, atomic radius. Same parameters can be employed and extended to electron affinity and electronegativity also, because all are the repetition of the properties in the periodic table. That's the reason why. So these are showing the impact on these periodic properties. Now, electronegativity can be measured in different parameters, different scientists having different perceptions. First, electronegativity is assumed to be calculated by the scientist called Mulliken. That is called the Mulliken scale of electronegativity. Mulliken proposed the electronegativity of the element is the average value of ionization energy and electron affinity. Ionization energy is nothing but whenever energy needed to remove the electron from the gaseous atom is called ionization energy. Electron affinity in the sense when electron added to the element which is in the gaseous state, the amount of energy released is called electron affinity. So here it is the average of these two. Like Electronegativity is equal to ionization energy plus electron affinity by 2, because we are taking two parameters, that's why by 2. So simply you can say it is the average of these two parameters. So that's the reason why electronegativity can be measured by taking the comparative study between the elements. And xm, so you can say this is chi m is equal to ip means ionization potential plus electron affinity, ea means electron affinity by 2, which is measured in electron volts, because if we are taking potential, always the value should be in volts, electron volts. If we are taking enthalpy, that should be in the kilojoules per mole, right? So here chi m denotes what? Electronegativity value, which is given by Mulliken, and ionization potential, electron affinity values. So this is the empirical formula in order to calculate electronegativity values given by Mulliken. In accordance to this, here HF, hydrofluoric acid, was taken. We are not supposed to take an individual element for the calculation of any electronegativity value. That's the reason why I took the compound of polarity. So here, being hydrogen less electronegative, it will acquire the partial positive, and fluorine is strongly pulling the electrons towards that. That's why it is acquiring partial negative. So here, the arrow denotes what? Here, tendency of electron deposition or delocalization towards the fluorine atom more when compared to hydrogen. That is the arrow representing. And electronegativity value of the fluorine is given as 1004.6 kilojoules per mole. It will be the highest value in the entire periodic table. Fluorine electronegativity is the highest value in the modern periodic table, and it is calculated. Mulliken, according to it, is the ancient one, not exactly accurate. It is the precise value. That's the reason why most widely accepted Pauling scale was given. Pauling scale of electronegativity. Pauling assigned the electronegativity values for the element on the basis of bond energies. This is somewhat more precise when compared to Mulliken, but Mulliken laid the foundation in order to calculate the parameter called electronegativity. So that's why we have to appreciate the what effort of the scientist, right? So Pauling assigned the electronegativity values for the elements based on their bond energies. He assumed that electronegativity, always electronegativity is measured with respect to the standard compound called hydrogen. By taking hydrogen as a standard compound, with respect to hydrogen remaining, all the compounds in the entire periodic table were measured. So this is more accurate when compared to the Mulliken scale, and calculated the values of other elements with respect to hydrogen only. It was taken as the standard compound. With respect to this one, all the remaining compound values were deduced. Observe the values by taking this formula. Here, chi p denotes what? P denotes electronegativity, which is given by Pauling scale, and it is given as, it is derived from the Mulliken scale only. Chi m by 2.8. So this is a parameter with respect to hydrogen, because hydrogen taken as a standard here. So here, this is an alternative view for this electronegativity values, and will give the more accurate results when compared to the Mulliken scale. And chi m is nothing but ionization potential plus electron affinity by 2. So when that 2 multiplied with 2.8, it will become 5.6. That's why Pauling scale value is given as ionization potential plus electron affinity by 5.6. And this chi p denotes what? Electronegativity calculated by Pauling scale. And hydrogen taken as a standard, with respect to hydrogen, all the remaining values got derived. Now, let us see the tabular form of electronegativity values with respect to a group and a period. How they are going to vary in a group and a period, we are going to tabulate and observe the values. And already just now we discussed that fluorine with the highest electronegativity value, that is assigned as 4.0. For chlorine 3.0, bromine 2.8, iodine 2.5. So this is a halogen group, 17th group. Then what are the trends in this electronegativity values? 4 to 3, 3 to 2.8, 2.8 to 2.5. Gradual decrease in the electronegativity values you can observe. As we are descending down the group, electronegativity values are gradually decreasing. And how can we assign electronegativity values for the period? in a period, lithium, I'm taking second period where the lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. Lithium value will be 1, beryllium with 1.47, boron with 2.0, carbon with 2.5, nitrogen with 3, oxygen with 3.5, second most electronegative element in the periodic table, fluorine with 4.0, neon with the 0. Because all the noble gases neither absorb nor release the electron. That's why for all the noble gases, electronegativity values will be assigned as 0. Right. So here, with respect to electronegativity, polarity of the compound will be assigned. Before going into this, then what is the trend of this electronegativity in a period? 1, 1.72, 2.53, 3.54. What happened? From left to right hand side across the period, there is a gradual increase in the electronegativity values are observed. This is purely because of as the size of atom decreases, electronegativity values increases. So here atomic radius is inversely proportional to electronegativity values, right? Now let us see how electronegativity values will impact the polarity of the bond. Higher the electronegativity, greater the polarity of the bond. Obviously fluorine with a higher electronegativity value, so that HF will be more polar in nature, means positive pole, negative pole. So hydrogen with a positive charge, fluorine with a negative charge. HCl, being it is a covalent, but polarity of the bond is next level with respect to HF. Hydrochloric acid, partial positive on hydrogen, and a chlorine accumulated with a partial negative charge. And HBr, bromo will be slightly larger, so that polarity will be lower. So here H plus and Br minus and Hi, and almost you can say it is more least polar in nature, and the bond is more resembling the covalent bond. Because iodine is least electronegative in a group. In this group, 2.5 electronegativity, that's the reason why. Hydrogen with 2.2. So there is no much difference between the electronegativity values of these two. That's the reason why almost it is a non-polar covalent bond only. That is the trend in electronegativity and consequently polarity of the bond. Higher the electronegativity, greater will be the polarity of the bond. Polarity in the sense, shifting of bonded electrons towards only one atom is called polarity. That used to generate the poles. Means positive pole, negative pole. Means a positive charge, a negative charge. And these are the periodic trends with respect to electronegativity. Hydrogen taken as a standard compound in this. With respect to hydrogen, only entire values got derived in accordance with the Pauling. So it is taken as 2.2. And highest electronegativity value is assigned for fluorine, that is 3.98, almost is equal to 4, taken as a integer value, right? And lowest electronegativity value is assigned for cesium. Actually francium with a 0.7, but francium is not that stable because it is a radioactive element. So in general, we can consider cesium as the least electronegative element with a 0.79. And moreover, for all the noble gases, this electronegativity value assigned as 0. So most is fluorine, least is the noble gas in general, we can say, because 0 will be the lowest when compared to 0.9 or 0.79. So here, noble gas elements are having 0 electronegativity values, highest assigned for fluorine, lowest assigned for cesium in general. And what will be the trends in this here as we are descending from hydrogen to francium? Hydrogen with 2.2 and a francium with 0.7. Gradual decrease in the electronegativity values can be observed in a group. As we are crossing from left to right hand side, lithium with 0.98 and a gradual increase in these electronegativity values and reaching maximum with this fluorine. So left to right, a gradual increase in the values you can observe in this periodic table. And we are going to observe the periodic trends with respect to electronegativity by taking halogen family and second period. Again, we are going to compare. Just now we discussed fluorine with the highest electronegativity 4, chlorine with 3.0, bromine with 2.8, iodine with 2.5, astatine with 2.2. 2.2 astatine is exactly resembling with the hydrogen. and highest value is assigned for fluorine, so that here trends will be from top to bottom gradually decrease in the electronegativity values we can generally observe. And with respect to a period, a lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine, 1, 1.52, 2.53, 3.54. So there is a constant increase in the values you can clearly observe. The difference between the two elements will be 0.5 only. For all these, we are having regular trends in the electronegativity values, 1, 1.52, 2.53, 3.54. So regular trends you can clearly observe in the periodic properties with respect to electronegativity. So there is a gradual increase across the period. There is a gradual decrease from top to bottom of the group. And these are the general trends in the periodic properties in the entire periodic table. Hydrogen taken as the standard for the calculation of this electronegativity values with respect to Pauling. Pauling scale is more accurate. And from left to right, the values are gradually increasing. From top to bottom, the values are gradually decreasing. If you go with any kind of the group in this, each and every group and each and every period will obey these electronegativity trends. And there is a regularity in these properties. Now we are going to assign which is the highest electronegative element, which is the lowest electronegative element in the entire periodic table. And highest electronegative element is assigned as fluorine with electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 5. Strong tendency to gain one more electron in order to reach neon electronic configuration, that is the noble gas. So that electronegativity value of fluorine with respect to Pauling scale was assigned as 4.0. Yes, so it is compared, highest value is compared with the Mount Everest. And the lowest value of electronegativity is assigned to the element of alkali metal with the cesium. And this cesium is the metal having partial liquid nature, easily liquefiable metal it is, and whose electronegativity is assigned as 0.79. And the lowest is compared with the Marinette Trench because it is the deepest region in the oceans. Right. So these are the elements regarded as highest and lowest electronegative in the entire periodic table. By this, we completed what is electronegativity, how it will be distinct when compared to ionization enthalpy and electron gain enthalpies, and how can we calculate based on Mulliken scale and Pauling scale, and what are the trends in the period and a group of a modern periodic table, what will be the highest and lowest electronegativity values in the entire periodic table. These topics will help you for your preparation. Thank you very much for your consistent listening. Thank you, one and all.